All right, so today we're going to be talking about volume, and with volume, in sixth grade, we're only going to be using prisms, so rectangular prisms. So the total space inside of a 3D figure is the volume of an object. Volume is always measured in cubic units. So that's why a lot of times you can see it pictured as cubes stacked together to make a figure. To find the volume of a rectangular prism, you have to see how many cubes fit inside the shape. We will be doing this with measurements, and there is a formula that tells us how to do this. On your formula chart, it says V equals big B, so capital B, times H. Big B just represents the area of the base. It's a little more confusing, but it's actually really simple when you put it into practice. Area, we know, is just base times height. So volume is really base times height times height. The shortcut to this is literally to just multiply the three numbers together. You can multiply them together in any order you want to because it is all multiplication. So let's look at this example. On this one, we have three values, and that's exactly the three values we need. I usually call this one my base. This one off to the side is my height because that is my area of the base. My big B, and then this tall one also represents the height of the prism. So to find volume, we have volume equals base times height times height. Times height. So I'm just going to fill in those values. Volume equals base is 4, height is 3, and other height is 5. It does not matter what order you decide to work in. I can do 4 times 3 first or 3 times 5 first. It doesn't matter as long as you get to the same answer at the end. So 4 times 3 is what I'm going to do first because I like working from left to right. 4 times 3 gives me 12. Bring down my times 5. 12 times 5, we can look at our multiplication chart, and we can see that that answer is 60. So the volume is 60. The measurement is centimeters. And we're going to put a 3 behind this one because we're measuring in cubes. So the volume for this example is 60 centimeters cubed. Let's go ahead and go to the back to look at some more examples. On this first one, it does not give us any numbers, so we have to count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes. So that is going to be my base. 1, 2, 3 cubes, so that's going to be my first height. And my other height is also going to be 3 cubes. So the volume formula is volume equals base times height times height. So we're just going to fill this in. 6 times 3 times 3. Again, it doesn't matter which one you multiply together first as long as you end up doing it all. So we're going to do 3 times 3 first. So 3 times 3 is 9. And now we're going to do 6 times 9. 6 times 9 gives me 54. So the volume here is 54. We're going to call this units, since we don't know what the measurement is, cubed. So volume is 54 units cubed. On number 2, we're going to do base, height, and the other height. Again, it doesn't really matter as long as you know that you multiply all three of these numbers together. So the volume equals 5 times 4 times 10. Again, you can multiply in any order that you want to. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 4 first. That gives me 20. Bring down my times 10. 20 times 10 just means I add a 0 to the other one, so that would be 200. We're measuring in centimeters, and we're going to put our little 3 over there to find the volume. So the volume of this figure is 200 centimeters cubed. Let's go ahead and look at number 3 and 4. So number 3 gives us ours, and again, they look a little different, but it's the same thing. It is a box, and we are going to multiply all three numbers together. So the volume is going to equal, I'm going to make this my base. This is one height, and this is my other height. So volume equals 5 times 2 times 2. Again, do them in whatever order you want to. This time I'm going to do 2 times 2 first. That gives me 4. And then 5 times 4 is 20. So the volume here is 20. This is again measured in centimeters cubed. For our very last one, same exact thing. I'm going to make this my base, this one my first height, and this tall one my second height. Volume is always multiplying all three together, so I would do 4 times 6 times 5. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and multiply the last ones together first because I like that number better. So 6 times 5 gives me 30. And we're going to do 4 times 30. So I'm going to show you how I would do this over here. Bigger number on top, smaller number on the bottom, and we're going to multiply. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. So that means that our answer would be 120. Volume equals, and this is going to be in centimeters cubed. So it does not matter which one you multiply first, as long as you multiply all three values together. Remember, when you're looking at your formula chart, it gives you the big B instead of base times height times height. Just know that that big B means the bottom two numbers. So the bottom and the first height. That's where you get the three numbers from.